Pray for me, YouTube. I'm Salt Princess, and this is take 7. I really want to show you guys something very, very special that I've been working on for quite a while. It's been a little bit of a challenge today, but that's okay. We're gonna make it eventually. Perseverance is key. If you try, you will succeed. Do not give up. I'd like to introduce you all to my Vaal Stormcall elementalists that I've been building upon since the Betrayal League. That being said, I've invested an enormous amount of currency into this character, and so when I actually press my inventory button and show you what I have, I don't want you to be overwhelmed or feel like this is unfair or something that you cannot attain for yourself. I have gone far above and beyond the bare bones requirement to operationalize this build, and hopefully throughout the course of this build showcase, I can illustrate to you how you can actually make a very similar build for yourself using either a Vaal Stormcall or any other Vaal skill for that matter. My goal for this video is to illustrate that the Vaal skills are not just a nice, fancy, big DPS burst window button, but they can also actually be parlayed into an entire build if properly executed, operationalized, and geared around. So allow me to show you that now. I'm going to start with my passive tree. In terms of my ascendancy, realistically speaking, the only thing that's actually that big of a deal is probably Beacon of Ruin for what used to be the big elemental proliferations, and now that I think about it, that's been nerfed, and so that doesn't actually even happen anymore. Wow, I can actually change this. So maybe I should take Mastermind of Discord. I should probably take Mastermind of Discord. So after the Elementalist nerfs, we're going to go ahead and say that Mastermind of Discord is better than Beacon of Ruin, and you can go ahead and take that instead. You're going to want Pendulum of Destruction, because if you're actually paying attention to what's going on your screen, the 75% increased elemental damage is huge. It's so big. If you can time your burst window during the extra damage phase, you will absolutely feel it. That being said, this is kind of dead now that this is fucked up. I'm going to keep it anyways. And then we have Paragon of Calamity because we have no ability to leech life otherwise. So that's a pretty big deal. Golems are trash. I don't know why people use golems. This is kind of trash. Good God. GGG, what have you done to my favorite ascendancy? It's like worthless. All of these are pretty much worthless now, so let's not worry about that. As far as our passive tree is concerned, because we are a Stormcaller specifically, we have spec'd into whatever gives us bigger AoE, because Stormcall is an AoE gem. So we have Blast Radius, we have Arcane Expanse, and then we're also taking anything that gives us lightning damage, elemental damage, or shock effect. So Static Blows is good for that, Crackling Speed is good for that. This is okay. It's not the best option. I took this for shits and gigs because I was running a jewel that was, it doesn't matter. And then another important thing that I am doing specifically is I am reducing my mana reserved cost so that I can squeeze out just a little tiny bit of extra mana, and I'll show you why in just a second. So I've taken Sovereignty and Charisma. Otherwise, we're going for as much life as we can possibly squeeze into this. I do have a couple jewels. Predominantly, they're just additive damage and a little bit of life. And I do have a Watcher's Eye. I bought this Watcher's Eye. I wasted the last little tiny bit of my currency on this Watcher's Eye for that Arcane Surge when you create Consecrated Ground while affected by Zealotry, because I wanted to try and turn this into an EB Mom build, and it just doesn't work. If you wanted to do that, I'd recommend maybe being an Inquisitor. It would probably be better. Maybe. Realistically, since this is a flask-driven build, probably a Pathfinder might even be the best option, and you could just come right up through here and get pretty much the same tree. It's up to you. This game is amazing because it is so flexible. You can do damn near anything that you please in this game. So that being said, I chose an Elementalist because the elemental proliferation used to be amazing, and realistically speaking, I can probably just swap all this gear over to another character now. I didn't even really realize that. I don't typically play standard, so anyway, moving on with the build showcase. we are trying to operationalize our Vaal skills in a couple of ways. And so I'm going to need to take this out and take this off for just a second so I can illustrate to you what we are trying to overcome when we're focusing on making a Vaal build. Or this is true for any Vaal skill, realistically. This is true as much for Vaal Stormcall as it is Vaal Earthquake, as it is Vaal Spark, all Vaal skills. So, the foundational, I guess, the foundational mechanic of this build, in terms of actually operationalizing this for effective, convenient, and relatively simplistic use and execution is all in this first line. So if you're reading this dialog box along with me, it says Vaal Stormcall at the very top. That's the name of the skill. It shows you the average damage. It shows you the cast time of the skill. And then it shows you two things that are a little different than your average skill gem. It shows you the soul gain prevention period of 9 seconds. And then it also shows you the required soul cost of this particular Vaal skill. So these are two very, very important mechanics that we are building around. The soul gain prevention being the most important of the two. Now, why is that important? Well, Vaal Stormcall is a skill that lasts at baseline for 6 seconds. You place a marker on the ground, and for 6 seconds, that marker stays on the ground, and anything that walks into the radius of that particular marker will get zapped once every 0.25 seconds, according to the basic Vaal skill gem. That being said, we have a reduced Stormcall duration enchant on our shaped hubris circlet here. And so we have also slotted in less duration support into our Stormcall gem. And what these two things do is it actually reduces not only the skill effect duration all the way down to a very brief window of 1.8 seconds, but it also dramatically diminishes our soul gain prevention period. Now, why are we focusing on doing this? The soul gain prevention period is a time after pressing your Vaal skill button wherein you cannot gather new souls being the resource that is required to cast additional Vaal spells for whatever that soul gain prevention period is. So to optimize a Vaal skill build, ideally your soul gain prevention period will be less of a duration than your actual skill effect duration. And as you can see at baseline, the prevention period is about 1 second longer than the actual skill effect duration. Now, the way that we combat that is with the use of a soul catcher. What soul catcher does is it reduces the soul gain prevention duration of your Vaal skills. That is the last line on the flask. That is the most important component of this particular flask. If you are going to divine for optimization, go for the reduced soul gain prevention period over the increased damage. However, ideally, you want both of them to be as high as possible. Another thing that I need to mention right now is you cannot generate more mana during this flask effect. So we combat that with Lavianga's Spirit. Your skills have no mana cost during flask effect. Lavianga's Spirit lasts for 7 seconds. That is the duration of the flask effect. Soul Catcher only lasts for just under 5 seconds, which means if you don't have mana and you press both of your flasks, suddenly your skills cost no mana, and then at the end of the duration, you're at full mana again. So let's check this out. We drain all our mana, we pop our Soul Catcher, and now we have no mana. Okay? However, if we have no mana and pop both the Soul Catcher and the Lavianga's Spirit, we're still able to hard cast any of our spells, whether it be the regular Storm Calls or Lightning Warp, which is important, or Armageddon Brand or Flame Dash or whatever other skill you need to use in those moments, you'll be fine. So that's why we have these paired up. Now, the other cool thing about the reduced soul gain prevention that you get from Soul Catcher is take a look at the top right-hand corner of this particular skill where it says the soul gain prevention period, which is currently 2.71 seconds. When we pop our soul catcher, that drops down to 0.46 seconds, which obviously is less than 1 second. Now, why is this important though? You gain souls by killing enemies as well as attacking or hitting unique monsters or boss monsters with your skills. So when you've lowered the soul gain prevention period of your Vaal skill to less than the effect duration of the skill, what that does is it allows you to generate new Vaal skills, or Vaal souls rather, to cast more Vaal skills with the use of your Vaal skill. Your Vaal skill is then self-sustaining. 100% uptime on your flask is required for this, and that is why most people who play Vaal skill builds build around a Pathfinder Ascendancy, so you can basically just spam your flasks and not worry about anything. As long as you're not at full mana, you have unlimited mana, as long as you keep both of these flasks up. That being said, we're an elementalist. Things are a little bit more challenging, but that's okay. So fundamentally, that is how you can operationalize any Vaal skills. So let's look specifically at my build for my Vaal Stormcall Elementalist. So I have bloodstained weapons. And what bloodstained weapons do is it gives you a suffix on your weapon that says reduced soul cost of Vaal skills. As I showed you previously, the initial baseline soul costs of Vaal Stormcall is 30 souls. So with a 20% reduction in that, a 40% reduction in that from our weapons, and then an additional 25% reduction when our soul catcher flask is up, that equates to a 65% reduction in the soul cost of our skill, meaning that our Vaal Stormcall costs somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 souls as opposed to 30. And what this does is you still charge up 30 souls, but then when you press your flask, being that it only costs 8 souls, and you can even make that less, you can actually apply 3 Vaal Stormcalls while your flask is up, effectively tripling your damage, on top of the 86% increased damage that my particular flask has, and that has a range of 60 to 100%. So with a very, very nice soul catcher flask, you can dish out an absolute shit ton of damage in these very, very brief windows. For me specifically, I'll go over some numbers in a second about that, but let's keep it moving. So that is how you self-sustain through the bloodstained fossils, the reduced soul costs, and why the reduced soul cost is so important. I want to point out, I do have a shaped headhunter. I do have a solstice vigil. I don't have self-cursed temp chains gloves. These items are for funsies. This is something that I wanted from me. You don't need this. You don't even need an eternity shroud at all. What's important is the skill gems in the link. What's important is the reduced Stormcall duration on the helmet, and what is required are these 2 flasks here. Everything else is fluff. The bare bones requirement to operationalizing a Vaal skill is reduced duration. If you can find it in an enchant, that is the most optimal. However, you can also use a less duration support gem, which will also reduce the soul gain prevention period of any other Vaal skill. So that's good too, obviously. And those are the required things. Now, these reduced soul costs of your Vaal skills are not necessarily required, but as I said, they are almost, you can almost think of them as a multiplicative modifier to your damage, like your burst window. Not your sustained damage, but it's a multiplicative modifier to your burst damage while you have all your flasks up, while you're dumping all your souls. Those moments. Now, obviously, I have an Eternity Shroud, so I'm dishing out an absolute truckload of damage at baseline. Like I can one-shot regular packs with my Lightning Warp. That's how strong my character is right now. Like my Lightning Warp does like 13,000 damage per hit. That's enough to one-shot normal mobs. And obviously I get more out of you know, my Cinder Swallow and the extra chaos damage that I do. So, but those are just fun. I'm humble. I'm like low key flexing on you, and it's irrelevant and it's not necessary. So we're gonna stop. So what I've done is I have a scary ass map. I have a big scary tower. But the reason that I have this particular tower is not only does it have beyond, but oh shit, I thought this was my temp chains one. This is my temp chains one. Never mind. That kind of sucks. Do I want to do this? I don't know which one I wanted to do. I wanted to do the temp chains one so I could get like big headhunty boy for you, but it's not gonna happen. Yeah, so let's just show it off. I'll show you how the build actually plays. And I got a fair warning. It is kind of a challenging playstyle in the sense that there's a lot of things to pay attention to. You have to properly rotate your flasks. You have to maintain like less than full mana. There's just a lot going on, and then you also have to monitor your souls. You can't spam your Vaal Stormcalls because then you'll reapply your soul gain preventions and things like that. So let's just see what that looks like when we're actually in the map, and hopefully I won't get absolutely fucked by this map, but maybe I will, and maybe that'll be fun. Who doesn't love a good hard fucking once in a while, right? So we have our souls now, and we could start casting our Vaal Stormcalls, and they look like that. And that's how they kill things. When you press the buttons, they die. So as you can see, my damage is sufficient, to say the very least. I don't even know what the fuck that item is. So we're just essentially killing everything really quickly. And one of the things that I have to mention is when you have as much damage as I do, you run into this really weird first world problem of killing things so much faster than your soul gain prevention period, which, as I said, is less than a half of a second, that you're actually not generating new souls with your Vaal Stormcall, because you're doing so much damage that things don't live long enough to make it through the soul gain prevention period. That being said, I don't always self-sustain, which is why I have the Lavianga's combo, so that I can still hardcast my regular spells, right? So, things to know if you actually do this build and push it as far as it can go. What a debate! What a debate! Zana, do you have anything good for me? Not doing that. I'll come back. Ooh. Oh, that's kind of big. Do you have a temp chains map? I'd do a temp chains map right now. You don't? I'm going to come back for this. I'm not going to do it right now. So I lost my momentum from that little stop, but that's okay. We got a whole nother floor to go to. Oh, this is a phase boss. I'm not going to be able to one-shot the boss like I want to for you guys. That's okay. Maybe I actually will. Maybe that's a lie. Maybe I can impress you. This ain't no, I'm not even going to say it. That's just rude. I don't want to disparage anybody. Fuck that. I was going to say something rude about another content creator, and I will hold it back. The thing that I really like about the way that I have built this character is that, oh, that's so sketch, is that obviously it's a headhunty build, but it can sustain beyond, you know, this. I can lose all the juice and still function as a build and as a character, and that to me is what was important. Like, that's what I wanted to do most with this character, is just not be so pigeonholed into like the headhunter playstyle. I like the headhunter playstyle because obviously it's fucking out of control, but it's not necessary. I think I have Soul Eater, so I want to get up here as quick as possible. I'm gonna throw down a little portal just in case, and then we're gonna kill Brutus. So he's dead already. I think I killed him on my first hit. I just need him to, yep, there we go. And now Shavron's dead. Oh no, she is fucking immune, you bitch. I'm gonna not waste another Vaal Stormcall so I could one-shot Brutus when he, oh shit, when he comes back down. For some reason I thought that was gonna come out way faster. That scared me, genuinely. And Okay, wow, that actually hit. And he should be dead. Yeah, polyphasic bosses, and we're still killing him. Yeah, that's right. I called it polyphasic. Yeah, deal with it, because that's what it's actually called. I think I'm not done with this showcase yet, just because like the headhunter stacks were very real in this map, and I kind of blew through it really fast. So we're gonna go back downstairs, and we're gonna actually do that other map too, because it's fun. Let me think. Do I have anything else that I really want to say about this build? One, it's really fun. Two, it's really expensive. And as I said, you don't need the Headhunter. You don't need the Eternity Shroud. You don't need any of that stuff. I was doing just fine with just a regular 6-linked Vaal Regalia. And like, I think I was using a Stygian Vice at some point. I don't really know if I have... Oh god, this guy can actually kill me. I don't really know if I have my old gear anymore, and even if I did, I don't know where it would have went. So I can't bust it out and show you what the damage used to look like before I balled out of control on fancy gears and Watcher's Eyes and shit like that. But I assure you, I was not only capable of killing the Shaper with this build, but I did the thing where you let him regenerate all of his health in the 3rd phase, and then you go in with your full burst window and actually one-shot him, and I was actually able to do it. I was actually able to fully drain his HP bar. It wasn't like instant. It took like the full 2-second duration of all of my Stormcalls. But I got lucky, and he didn't go immune, and it worked. So, yeah, we are juiceless, and it feels weird, man. So let's go. Watch this be like Ellie Reflect, and I didn't look at it. No, but it's juicy. It's juicy. It's a big kid map. You gotta watch out for the big kid maps. So yeah, we're juiced again, and we're doing the things. We're doing the things still. And so that's like my favorite thing that this build can do. You can actually lay down a Vaal Stormcall and then open the box, and it's a really effective way of actually getting like your souls back, because you can just bypass the soul gain prevention with the box actually like loading. Oh wait, that was a No Traces. That's actually a good card. Why is that not like... It doesn't look like a good card. Oh, that's my Thunder Herald. Okay. Or Lightning Herald, or what? Fuck it, let's go one-shot Dre. I hate this boss, so this will be a fun thing for me to do. Oh, look at that. I can actually sustain off those totems. That's nice. Oh, no I can't. Just kidding. And we only got 2, but we'll just Ellie weakness and goodbye. So as you can see, it's a good build. It's a good build. It's really expensive to bring it to this level, and I guess since I've taken the extra time already, I can talk about a few other things. I really hesitate to do it, but so Bloodstained Fossils. For me to push this character even further, you can actually use a Bloodstained Fossil on a passive tree jewel. Oh, it sounds like such a waste, but what you can get on the passive tree jewels, oh my god, I ran out of flasks, is more reduced cost, reduced Vaal skill costs. So you can actually lower the soul cost of your skills to 0. It would take a lot of skill gems in order to do it, because I think the highest possible reduced soul cost roll that you can get from a Bloodstained Fossil on a jewel, I think, is actually only 4%. So I would need like 5 to 7 jewels, something like that, to get it like at least below 10%. I don't even know what I'm doing in this map anymore. So that's another thing that I can do to push my character further. Some of the things that you can do to realize this character in your own way would be honestly pursuing Spark first, or potentially even Fireball first. The soul gain prevention windows are actually much more manageable with those two skills. And what I mean by that is like the effect duration of the skills, like the ratio of skill effect duration versus the soul gain prevention duration is like not as unforgiving as it is with this particular skill. So I would recommend like just figuring out what those ratios are, just literally like divide. You know, it's not that bad. And like I said, although the bloodstained fossils are very, very expensive right now in Legion, realistically speaking, you could farm them yourself in Delve. Delve is a really, really fun mechanic that you can get into. It can be expensive to push really, really, really super far, but like Delve is just so enormously rewarding on so many levels. It just like shits currency all over you, and like it's actually fun, and like the content is really fast. The EXP is crazy good. However you pronounce it, like he's like easily the hardest boss in the game. I've only ever fought one, and it was the most fun I've ever had playing Path of Exile. That boss is so good. Oh, it's so good. So like there's just so much fun stuff in Delve. Delve is like probably the best content that this game is ever gonna have, next to Synthesis. I fucking loved Synthesis. So like you can farm your own and make this build a reality in Legion, and realistically speaking, like the Legion content is so good for like a Vaal Sparker would be dumb. Obviously Vaal Ice Nova is absolutely fucking out of control for monolith opening right now, so like that would be a cool thing. Although the way that Vaal Ice Nova works, I don't think it would even be possible to actually get your soul gain prevention period low enough to actually absorb new souls. But what you could do is you could focus on the reduced cost thing. So in doing that, you can get multiple stacks of Vaal Ice Nova as opposed to just the one. So like obviously having 3 Vaal Ice Novas would be nutty for monolith opening. So so the reason that I've spent so much time on this video and explaining this build is specifically for that reason. Like Vaal skills are insane right now for Legion content. They're so good, so goddamn good, and I haven't seen anybody make a build guide video for Vaal skills, except maybe Cute Dog. I think he did the Vaal Earthquake thing, so I just felt like that information should be circulating again, just as a reminder, a little PSA for the Path of Exile community. Vaal skills still work. They work really well, and if you can afford to do it, it would be a really, really, really fun way to spend the rest of your league. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate your support. I'm still growing as a channel. I'm still a little baby in the Path of Exile content creation community, but I'm having a lot of fun doing this. And although I haven't really caught on like I would like to just quite yet, it's been a great time for me to do this. I really enjoy pumping these videos out for you guys, and the handful of you that are watching, I appreciate you being here so much. Like, I actually do. I don't want to sound insincere. It's cool. It's exciting for me. So thank you. Have some fun with this. Check it out for yourself. You don't have to do it, but it's a fun thing to think about. Take care of yourself, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you again soon. And if you get the opportunity to, try and do something nice for somebody, because it can be pretty rough out there. So take care of each other. Bye.